Am I speaking to Luis?
Yes, this is he speaking.
Luis, my name is John Smith. I'm calling over from the airport regarding your job application. I was wondering if you had a couple of minutes for a quick interview.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Luis. So essentially, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. The questions aren't going to be necessarily related to the technical aspects of the job itself. They're going to be more so I'm talking about, interpersonal relationships and uh, more of a personality kind of thing going on.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Question: can you tell me about a time you faced a challenging situation at work or school and how exactly you handled it?
Yeah, so we had a person at my previous employment. He was not doing his part of his work. So I brought it up to leadership, but I told them that I wanted to handle it because I wanted to make sure there was nothing in his personal life that might be affecting his performance. So that's what I did. I spoke with my coworker, asked him what was going on, if he had something going on, because I've noticed that he'd been not doing the work as he should have. He told me that he had some personal situations going on. One of his family member passed away, and that he has been not feeling at his greatest. So I told him that I would help him for the time being until he felt better, and that's what I did. And like a week or two after, he returned to back to normal, and actually really appreciated him my help, and for overall just worrying about his personal life.
Okay, sounds good. And real quick, Luis, can you give me an example of a time in which you identified a problem, once again, at work or at school, and you were able to come up with a solution to that problem?
Yes, so we had a problem again with my previous employment with our methods of communication. It was very ineffective, not efficient at all. People were always lost. They didn't really know what was going on. So I brought this up to leadership. I told them nobody had brought it up before. I did, but I was like, you know what? Our method of communication is just efficient. No one knows what's going on. So what if we come up with a method, a standardized way of communicating? That way, everyone actually understand what is going on. So that's what we did. We actually came up with a new way of communicating, and ultimately made communication more effective and efficient.
Okay. And Luis, can you tell me about a time in which you had to collaborate with someone very different from you regarding, personality, work habits, etc.?
Yeah, so and in my previous employment as well, we had to work with different departments within the same company. But at times it was just a little bit difficult because every department had different work ethics. We had to work with a lot of admin. We were more manual stuff, but a lot of admin was involved, and many of the times it was not the best of teamwork. So we were used to just get the things done. We were told what to do, and we did it. And admin was a little bit more different. They were more, I guess, correct, more of a way to just like we have to check the box before we actually do something. So it was kind of difficult at the beginning to get along with them, but after a few, you know what, we found common ground and we just started working from there. You know, you do this way, we do this that way. Let's just find somewhere in between that we can actually both do the same thing and just get the task done.
Okay, and when speaking about group settings, a workplace being one of them, it would be ideal for that environment to always be flourishing and, positivity and, just standard, decent interactions. But we all know that that's not a thing, it's not realistic. Having said that, how have you handled disagreements in group settings?
So that has also been something difficult with that we had a lot of problem in my previous employment. Um, every group worked differently, so it was always very difficult to get along and just like be on the same page. Um, so for me and my group, it was very difficult because we always just wanted to get stuff done, but for the other groups, it was like I don't know, it was just very different ways of working. But it ultimately just ended up being talking frankly with both groups and just be like, we have to get this done. So either like agree or not, we have to get it done. So it was just, we have the same objective. Let's complete the objective and be done with it.
Outstanding. And Luis, an important aspect of any sort of work setting is the receiving and, you know, at the end of the day, acceptance of feedback. How do you consider yourself at handling, um, you know, giving and or receiving feedback?
Okay. So giving, I am still very relatively new to giving feedback. I have not really been in a position of leadership that long where I can actually be effective in giving feedback to make you better. But I'm learning, and hopefully with this position, it's gonna expose me to a lot of environment in which I have to apply giving feedback. Receiving feedback at the beginning, when I first started my professional career, I really struggled to actually receive that feedback. But if I finally found put my ego to the side, understanding that feedback that I was receiving, it was going to make me better in the long term. And ultimately, I was able to learn that feedback is good and it's going to make me a better person, not only in my professional career, but also in my personal life.
Okay, and Luis, when it comes to tasks and, deadlines at work, there are many times where one is able to focus solely on one deadline, on one specific task, but there are times where we're going to have multiple tasks that need to be done, multiple deadlines to worry about. How do you prioritize what tasks need to be done when you do, in fact, have multiple deadlines to meet?
Absolutely. So I usually separate my tasks from more urgent to more um, further away deadline. So I just ensure that all of the tasks are being handled, but those that are more close to the deadline are definitely prioritized. But I make sure that all of my tasks are actually moving forward. I do not leave, even if one is 10 years from now, the deadline, I still ensure that all of them are beginning a process and they're actually starting to get it done. But yes, again, I separate tasks and ensure that those that need more urgency get done first and just go from there.
Okay, we're just about done, so just have a couple more questions here. You know, when speaking about the workplace and the many roles that one as an employee and coworker takes, something that's often spoken about is an employee's initiative, coworker's initiative. Can you share an example of a time in which you took initiative on a project without needing input or almost motivation from anyone else?
Yeah, so there was a time where my team leader, he was tasked with completing a project, and he wasn't the most knowledgeable in that area of the project. So I noticed that he was struggling a little bit just getting that project done. So I took the initiative and told him like, hey, I know a little bit about this topic and about this project. Would you mind if I like help you out? Without actually verbally saying it, he basically let me took charge of that project, and I was the one who ultimately led that project. And at the end of the day, we got the objective done.
All right, and Luis, it's human nature to constantly be learning and appreciating new things, new experiences. Having said that, in the workplace, we're not always going to know everything. We're always going to be learning new tasks, new methods, etc. Can you tell me about a time in which you were asked to do something you had never done before?
Yeah, so one time my actually he was my section manager. He was tasked with doing something at a very above my pay grade level. He needed a few people to help him out. I was selected to do it. I was not familiar with any of the process or the task itself. That was very new to me. I'd never even heard of it before. So I was just honest with my leader. I was like, I have never done this before, and I do not know how to do it. My leader was very understanding and actually was guiding me, coaching me, and just like telling me what to do. So while I was learning, I was actually learning how to do it and actually doing it. So that really was very useful for my actual professional career because I now learned something else and something new that I'm gonna need if I continued with that company.
Okay. And real quick, Luis, can you tell me about a time in which you led a group to accomplish a task in mind?
Yeah, so we were sent to a location. It was four of us, lower junior people, and we did not had a manager, a team leader, or a section leader with us. So we were just told, "Hey, you need to go this way to this place and get this thing done." We went there. We were for all four of us. I guess we were a little bit lost on how to start, what to do, and just how to get things done. I noticed that if we just continue that way, we're not going to get anywhere. So I took charge and I was like, hey, all right, you do this, you do that, I'll do this. And if we get all of this, everyone does their part, we should be able to go home pretty quick. So that's what I did. I took charge and told everyone, each person what to do, and we got it done.
Okay, Luis, and speaking about group settings or the workplace or any sort of human interaction or action, we're bound to make mistakes. It's going to happen. It's just a part of life that we have to deal with. Having said that, can you tell me about a time in which you missed a deadline?
Yeah, so this goes back to my academic life. There was a group project. I We were all each tasked to do some research on our own and ultimately just compile it and get our project done. Well, I missed the deadline for that submission. I first contacted my other team members and I was honest with them. I was like, I was not as successful in finishing my research on time, so I did not submit it. I will contact my professor and make sure that he knows that the failure for submitting that is my responsibility. So that's what I did. I contacted my professor, let him know what happened. I was honest about it. I just completely missed the deadline. I was not quick or did not take the time enough to put research and finish the project. He was like, you know what? Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for being honest. And he just gave me some extra work to compensate for that failed submission. And I did it. And, I think the best lesson learned there was to be honest and just let people know about the truth. And it's going to get you places.
Understood, Luis. So that about wraps it up from our end here. Like I told you, it was just going to be a couple of questions we had in mind. Speaking of questions, is there anything you would like to ask before I let you go?
No, I think I am good.
All right, Luis, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day, okay?
You too. Thank you.